Hey guys, thank you for watching the Slat Rock channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. If you've already done so, please just double check and make sure. Guys, today we present you 9 infamous moments where WWE wrestlers and employees' character was defamed on live TV. Number 9. Lita slut-shaming. Lita broke the mold for women's wrestling during the new millennium with her fantastic talent. Her ability to perform moves which before only men had pulled off, like the Hurricane Rana or the top rope moonsault, made her a pioneer in the women's division. Her unique personality and style earned her a deserving place in the WWE Hall of Fame, and made her a role model to many young girls who even went on to become wrestlers themselves like AJ Lee and Bayley. Lita had a tremendous career, so it's quite a shame that her last years as an active WWE superstar were tarnished by real-life drama that was exploited in WWE storylines. Lita's unfaithfulness to then-boyfriend Matt Hardy by sleeping with Edge on the road was made public, and it did not paint her in a positive light. WWE owning the story and turning it into an angle didn't help matters, as it turned the crowd against her with vile chants of slut being hurled at her anytime she appeared on TV. While Lita was playing a heel and played the character well, it came at a price, almost eclipsing her respectful body of work she had worked so hard to establish. It took a lengthy absence away from the spotlight after her retirement for her to recover from such damage. Number 8. Piper's rant on Vince Russo. Even though this incident took place in TNA, we're including it on this list since Vince Russo and Roddy Piper are involved. Vince Russo is largely known as a creative writer for both the WWE and WCW at the peak of the Monday Night Wars. Russo had off-the-wall ideas that fit within the crazy shock TV era of the time, but after that period wore off, Russo's philosophy became obsolete. Russo still had some value, however, as TNA would swipe Russo up after the demise of WCW to be part of the creative team. TNA at this time was trying to establish themselves as a legitimate alternative to WWE, and would bring in big names to try and attract viewers. One of those big names would be Rowdy Roddy Piper. Piper had requested some time on TNA programming to plug his new book, but instead used the time to basically rip into Russo and his negative contributions to the world of professional wrestling. Piper reamed Russo, blaming him for the demise of WCW, and even going so far as to blame him for the death of Owen Hart. Russo would come out to the ring to take a lot of the verbal onslaught personally face-to-face, and had no idea that Piper's gripes with him were legitimate. It was an ugly, cringeworthy scene that has gone down as one of the most controversial moments in TNA's history. Number 7. HBK's Hulk Hogan impersonation. It was supposed to be a rivalry for the ages that was meant to be a trilogy, but the Hulk Hogan vs. Shawn Michaels feud became a one-and-done affair due to being muddied up by clashing egos and backstage politics. Shawn Michaels was enjoying a great babyface run in 2005, and there were talks for a feud with Hulk Hogan in which was slated to be 3 matches. Both would win 1 match apiece and then have a rubber match between the two. However, Hogan put his creative control to work, preferring HBK to turn heel and for it to be just 1 match. It's no surprise that this ticked off the showstopper. Michaels would comply, turning heel and doing the job for Hogan at SummerSlam. But Michaels would change the dynamic of the feud by filming a pre-taped promo where HBK would imitate Hulk Hogan on a parody version of Larry King Live. In the now infamous skit, HBK would rail on Hogan and his backstage sleazy business demeanor and his age. Hogan was said to be furious because it hit too close to home. Number 6. Edge and Christian reveal everything about Sunny. The Edge and Christian show on the WWE Network is a quirky little comedy show with insider references and jokes that only those knowledgeable of backstage antics would get. Whether it's making fun of TNA, ragging on old terrible gimmicks of the past, or storylines that had gone awry, it's WWE's version of South Park in its irreverence. The irreverent humor may have rubbed a certain former WWE diva the wrong way when Edge and Christian made a veiled reference towards Tammy "Sunny" Sitch. A parody ad aired during the program making fun of Sunny's past DUIs and various arrests for domestic violence, as well as her cancer diagnosis that she informed her fans and followers about and asked for help with medical bills. Sunny would go off on Twitter bashing Edge and Christian for the slanderous insult, calling both of them douchebags and ugly Canadians that had crushes on her. Number 5. Big Poppa Pump tears into Ric Flair. In the final years of WCW, the organization was a mess. The Monday Night Wars had vastly shifted in the WWE's favor, and WCW was losing in the ratings, and as a result, losing tremendous amounts of money as the audience began the move towards WWE. The booking was terrible and getting worse week by week to the point that people began getting away with things that weren't slated to be in the script. Scott Steiner would prove to be a prime example of WCW's floundering condition. Steiner was a career mid-carder finally being given the ball in the main event scene in WCW in 2000. Steiner had a respectable run with his Big Poppa Pump persona, but he had detractors and he let it be known who they were. In February 2000, Steiner would shoot on Ric Flair, stating that whenever Flair was on screen, millions would change the channel to watch Raw, and closed by saying WCW sucked. Surprisingly, he wouldn't receive any punishment, which goes to show how much of an unmitigated disaster WCW was at the time. Number 4. Vinnie Mac's Bret Screwed Bret interview. The Montreal Screwjob has been repeatedly cited as one of the most scandalous moments in wrestling history, and for good reason. The WWE pulled the rug out from underneath Bret Hitman Hart, double-crossing him with a match finish he wasn't clued in on and humiliating him in front of his hometown crowd. There are generally two sides that have formed from this incident: those who feel it was the right thing to do and best for business, and those who disagree and feel WWE went too far. The WWE collectively fell in the first party, and to add insult to injury, Vince McMahon conducted an interview that has gone down in history as the Bret Screwed Bret interview. In it, Vince would explain his version of events and go on to claim that Bret essentially held the company hostage with his contract and with his refusal to do business and drop the championship to Shawn Michaels. The interview made Bret seem like the villain in the whole matter and further caused bitter resentment toward the company by the Hitman that wouldn't be forgiven for over a decade. Number 3. Ed Ferrara and Vince Russo insult Jim Ross. The following incident actually took place on WCW TV, but it's hell worth mentioning here. Guys, fans are still mystified by WCW allowing writer Ed Ferrara to impersonate WWF announcer Jim Ross as the character Oklahoma, complete with Ross's Oklahoma drawl and trademark cowboy hat. Ferrara even mocked Ross's Bell's palsy during vignettes, leading to Jim Cornette spitting in Ferrara's face in an indie show in 2002 when he saw him. Ferrara's portrayal caught a lot of flack for making fun of someone with a debilitating disease that nearly cost the man his life, and it disappeared quickly from TV. Like many Vince Russo and Ed Ferrara ideas, the Oklahoma character was little more than a vanity project, serving no purpose other than perhaps to see how low WCW's ratings could go. In case you forget, Oklahoma even won the WCW Cruiserweight Champion from Medusa, for God's sakes. Number 2. WWE's Ultimate Warrior DVD. The Ultimate Warrior had burned all bridges with the WWE, and the bitterness remained long after the Warrior hung up his boots for retirement. The Warrior was not interested in returning back to the company for any appearances, and rallied against the company for how they treated him and the direction the company was going during the Attitude Era. Reportedly, after Ultimate Warrior declined to participate in a DVD retrospective of his career, the WWE decided rather than just canceling the documentary, they would go along and finish the project, but take things in a new direction. One that didn't celebrate Warrior's career, but eviscerated it. The scathing documentary, entitled The Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior, was basically a hit piece on the Warrior, tearing into his backstage demeanor, his demanding diva-like mentality, and stomping all over his legacy. Various wrestlers and personalities would mock the Warrior, ridicule his in-ring prowess, and make him out to look like a terrible human being. This would hurt the Warrior very much, and he would take WWE to court for defamation. However, this story ended up having a happy ending, as Warrior and the WWE would patch things up, and Warrior would be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame before his passing. Number 1. Austin took his ball and went home. Stone Cold Steve Austin was a take-no-BS type guy on TV, and it showed off-camera as well. In 2002, Austin was booked to lose a qualifying match for the King of the Ring against Brock Lesnar on Raw. Austin, who was already upset with the direction the WWE was going with his character, thought it was a terrible idea to let that play out on free TV with no hype. Instead of going along with the script, Austin would walk out of the arena and not appear on the show. What the WWE would do in return for Austin's unprofessionalism certainly showed their animosity over Austin's decision. The WWE would report that Austin took his ball and went home, basically painting Stone Cold in the light of a petulant little child who wasn't getting his way. Vince McMahon would come out on Raw and vent about Austin's walkout, and then a returning Rock would come out and rip into Stone Cold for not caring about the fans and being unprofessional. The WWE would even go as far to remove his merchandise from WWE's online shop and remove all of Austin's likenesses from their website. A documentary would even be created over Austin's walkout, showing how far WWE would go to smear someone for not following their rules. Well guys, that's our video. If you can think of any more times that a wrestler has been humiliated or defamed on live television, please let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to check out our previous video, Top 10 Twins in Wrestling History That You Probably Never Heard Of. And also check out our other high-rated videos by clicking up at the upper right-hand corner or down in the description field. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe for more videos just like this one, and the bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and as always, thanks for watching.